Gonna hit the six. Gonna go live
Absolutely.
with live, baby. I'm ready to go.
That's right, Fish. Hey, we are live with some big and crazy NFL deals unfolding as we speak. We will dive into them with the hard line. He also has some bets on March Madness and the Players' Championship. Plus, speaking of big moves, how about Batman this past weekend? We'll talk about that along with some Hollywood stars at the iconic Arts Deli in Hollywood with Heidi's Hollywood. Our schmuck of the week loves a good Super Bowl halftime show. And who's got the swag as a Ukrainian tennis hero. On the grind, we will gnash our teeth about baseball and some strange moves in the NFL broadcast booth. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Daily Fish. John Daly here with Eric Snyder, a.k.a. Fish. We're coast to coast, coming to you from Las Vegas and Myrtle Beach. We talk sports, entertainment, and everything in between. Fish. There is some breaking NFL news with Russell Wilson going to Denver. The Chargers re-sign wide receiver Mike Williams. Aaron Rodgers is staying in Green Bay for a whopper deal, making him the highest paid NFL player. And there's a big real estate deal in Las Vegas. Got some quick thoughts
Yeah,
on that?
sure. Devontae Adams bought a $12 million house, and he just got franchise tagged to stay in Green Bay. All I know is the NFL is supposed to release all this information on Sunday, but no one got the memo.
Hard to believe. Anyway, we're going to hit all that with the hard line coming up in a bit, but we're making some quick changes here on Daily Fish. As you'll see, if you have questions or comments, drop them in on the chat box or email us at dailyfish1@gmail.com. All right, today we're going to hit Hollywood with Heidi's Hollywood and some special guests. She is Heidi Oliker, actor and producer who is deep in the entertainment scene with us every week, and she is on location at a famous Hollywood deli. Heidi, what is cooking at Arts Deli?
Hey guys, everything is cooking at Arts Deli, and I'm getting really hungry. It's pretty exciting over here. Got some
It's
special guests to share with you, but first I want to give you some streaming info. I absolutely am in love with Don't Look Up. It is, oh my God, it's so good. You hate Meryl Streep. How can you hate Meryl Streep? Meryl Streep in this movie. It's an Adam McKay film, and Adam McKay started. What did he start? He started Funny or Die, which is hysterical, and they're up for 4 Oscars. The film, which is very exciting, and Meryl Streep's character Miranda Priestley is a saint compared to the character she plays in Don't Look Up. Jonah Hill plays her son, who is every word out of his mouth. You just want to slap his face. He's brilliant. You've got Leonardo DiCaprio. You've got Jennifer Lawrence. It's a brilliant film on the satire of what's going on in our world, but unfortunately, it's really going on in our world. So I'm not so sure how much of a satire it is, but it's a brilliant film. So I love it. Highly recommend it. It's
You know, I saw
Netflix, of course.
I saw the film, and it's about a comet that comes to hit the, and no one believes Jennifer Lawrence and Leonardo DiCaprio, the scientists, discover it, and
Right.
Street is the president, and she has a Trump-like attitude, like he did with the virus. It doesn't exist. It's a hoax. The greatest
Yeah.
line in that movie is he's DiCaprio's character John is on Sesame Street, and these kids go, "Is this thing gonna really blow up the world?" And he says, "Yeah, we're all fucking gonna die." That's what he said.
It's just brilliant. It's just every moment of it is brilliant, and you kind of can't believe you're seeing what you're seeing. That they actually put this movie out. So I'm absolutely. If I was a voting member of the Academy, I would be voting for it. So I love it. Very exciting. And there's also Eric and I were talking recently about the summer blockbusters and how exciting it is that people are going back to the theater and how well the Batman did with Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz. Unbelievable. What is it? 138 million US?
248 between domestic and international.
Okay, good thing I don't do budgets. I'm off by a tiny bit, but it's pretty exciting. And then the next summer blockbusters I'm so jazzed about. Absolutely, Jurassic Park, the sixth installment, which I mean, you've got Sam O'Neill, um, you've got Jeff Goldblum, you've got Mr. Spielberg, and the guys from Stan Winston, and they're called Legacy Effects. Well, these are the brilliant artists who have been bringing the dinosaurs to life with the last 20 years roughly since Stan's been gone, and they're great guys. So I'm really happy for them. I have such an affinity for effects, as you know, having worked for Rick Baker, and that's really, really exciting. But my other one, of course, is Top Gun Maverick. I mean, that was not childhood, but our 20s, and it's back. It's back 34 years later. So I'm jazzed about that. And that's all coming out in May and June. Going to be big box office, which is very important to our business.
So the fact that it's coming back says a lot. Also, Arts Deli in Studio City is really coming back pretty good too. So tell us what's going on there, who you have.
Well, I very happily have. I'm going to move over here and give him a big old hug. So this is Harold Ginsburg. This is Art's son, and he took over for his dad before your dad passed.
Oh my God, long time ago.
You've been about 20 years roughly. He's been running it. It's amazing. It is as they've said in the paper recently, the new Schwab's for performers, and he does a beautiful job. And we're very excited to eat some food, as we said in our last week. So I'm sorry you guys aren't here to actually partake in the food, but we do have some very special guests as well, which I am moving over to, which we have a little mini head of the class reunion. And I'm moving over here.
Oh, look at that.
We've got Dan Frischman and Christine Hodge.
Hello.
And you know them from Head of the Class and other projects. And he was Arvid, the ultimate brilliant nerd. And she was Simone. Simone Biles? Biles, right?
No, that's the famous gym.
Oh, that is
I would have loved to be.
Way to go, Valley girl.
Prophecy.
She was
She had a lot of bile.
Hey now, Simone Foster.
Simone Foster. I apologize.
Yeah, I was the poet laureate of the romantic.
Yeah. And they act alike.
And stunning then, stunning now. She's done a lot of Law and Order episodes, SVU and Law and Order Straight, and she's always busy. I think you're doing theater.
I just got back from doing a movie in Chicago. It's an independent feature film that is really it was a whole miraculous adventure, but it's called Road Dog. Well, how do I get in there? Road Dog.
Road Dog.
Yeah.
Road Dog?
It's a redemption story about a stand-up comic, and I get to play the one who got away, the fiance he bailed on and blew up his life with.
Oh.
He revisits.
And when is that coming out?
More than that.
That's
but,
okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. And Dan, tell us about you.
Well, I've been in trouble with Law and Order, but otherwise, I wrote a memoir. It's called Whatever Happened to Me. It contains such stories. Actually, a lot Christine's in a lot of these stories. And I directed for Nickelodeon, as well as was on a Nickelodeon show for 4 years called Keenan and Kel, starring the wonderful Kenan Thompson and Kel Mitchell, who's also still about and around. And now I'm writing a novelization of a play that I wrote called Renfield. Speaking of Adam McKay, he's coming out with a movie called Renfield about Dracula's messenger. His is a comedy, modern day version, whereas mine is a same character, but it's a Gothic tale from the 1800s. Oh my!
Oh, someone's getting
I'll tell you what, guys. I got something.
I
darn!
I thought we had to put some sort of
looking at
rating on this.
I'm sorry that had something to do with Dracula. I was hoping for something completely
Well,
different.
maybe if you get some corned beef in the girl, then some white fish or something. I don't know. Sorry.
I'll tell you what, if that was me sitting in between you two girls, I would.
Get Christine in the shot. She's much prettier than me.
Christine is gorgeous.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she is gorgeous.
Christine is
Now,
gorgeous.
you know what? I got a thing here. I got a comment. That's the guy, Chris, who owns the shop in Keenan and Kel.
Oh,
That's your
yes,
character.
remember, yes.
You already have a fan, brother. You got a fan. So that's awesome. Let me ask you something about Heidi. Did you guys see her film Valley Girl when it came out, or were you too young, or what?
Yeah. I didn't see it when it came out, but I've seen it numerous times since then.
I saw it when it came out. I was actually in Paris, and I was a Valley girl. I was 14, and then the French and English and Italian people I went to see it with wanted, like, oh my God, like totally gagged me with a spoon. They wanted me to do the lingo for them.
Like, oh my God, like, is that what you mean? Like, is that what you're talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, Heidi, is there any way, guys, that we can get some food, some pictures of some food from that iconic deli?
We're gonna get some food.
I want to ask Harold a question. So,
yes, absolutely. I'm bringing you over to Harold, and let's go walk in front of the deli bar to get your.
That's the best.
Let's go walk to the deli bar. We'll be back.
John, I know you've been to Arts Deli. I know that it's such a classic. It's the greatest form of a New York deli.
I'm going to let Harold take the road, and then you just walk us through. Tell us all about Arts Deli and how you used to give me free sandwiches.
Oh, we used to give you plenty of free sandwiches when you worked next door at the yogurt shop. But
and
now
his mother knows that too, because she's here.
She knows a lot of stuff that went on here, but that's okay. Anyway, we're kind of walking through the main.
Show the restaurant.
Oh, here's the restaurant.
With those amazing pictures, those very famous pictures.
See the pictures there? Anyway, this part of the restaurant that we're walking through was the original footprint of the restaurant that my parents bought in 1957. So we've expanded quite a lot over the years. And let's see, make sure that you get.
Oh, sorry, guys. Yeah.
I remember you, Harold. I remember you from high school. You're always a great kid. You're a little younger than I am, but I was a frequent visitor, and so was John in your deli. And if COVID, Harold, you can hear me. If COVID had any plus side to it, is that when Jerry's Deli closed, Variety said that you are now the stub hub of actors and actresses hanging out in Studio City. So God bless.
And what's funny is that we never stopped doing that. That we've had that from day one. My parents' first customers were all Hollywood studio people, and it never stopped over the last 65 years. So it's been actually incredible, and there's quite a few great stories about things that happened here. One very quick story first is there's a song by Crosby, Stills, and Nash called Our House. And when Graham Nash goes out and talks on the road now, he talks about the fact that he and Joni Mitchell had breakfast here, and he mentions Arts Deli, that he and Joni had breakfast here. They walked down the street. It was a rainy day, and they bought a vase at the corner antique store, and went back to their house in Laurel Canyon. And then he told Joni, go outside and get some flowers for the vase I bought. When she went outside, he wrote the song.
Wow. That is my favorite.
So Graham still tells the story about that. And what else happened here? Oh my God, some really big meetings with Ray Romano and Phil Rosenthal. They created the concept for Everybody Loves Raymond while they were having lunch here and wrote the outline on a napkin. Wow. The other big meeting was with Ivan Reitman and Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis for Ghostbusters. I think Dan Aykroyd was trying to sell the movie at the time and trying to figure it out, and he partnered with John Landis, and they had to figure out how to make the movie. And their first big official meeting was here for the movie that got made into the final Ghostbusters version. So yeah, we've got a long history with Hollywood.
I understand that, and I always judge a deli, and I've been to all your competition. I've been to Nate Nallif, I've been to Brenton Valley, I've been to Jerry's Deli, Panthers, which I grew up on the west side of town before we moved to the Valley, iconic place. You have the best lox, eggs, and onions anywhere in the, and I've been to, we've all been to places in New York. So kudos to you because you have the best food, and that's all that matters.
Thank you. Yeah, we work on keeping that quality super high every day. I'm here every day, checking everything every day. My staff who's in the kitchen, most of them have been here between 20 and 40 years, and they know the quality we like to put out, and it shows. And they all are dedicated to their work. And when we had the original shutdown at the beginning of the COVID nightmare, I asked my staff, you guys in or out? If you want to leave, I understand if you don't want to be here and you're scared. And they all said, no, we want to stay and work and support you and support the place and support our customers.
And we also went through the 94 quake, which they had to shut down. But I believe you kept your staff.
Well, the insurance paid for part of the staff. They went on unemployment, but during the 94 earthquake, we had to tear the whole building down and rebuild it. And then the community came back and supported us full swing right when we reopened. It was fabulous. So both these tragedies.
Let me show the whole world just a quick pic of what you know. If you could probably see this to the phone if you can. That's your deli. That's a little icon with the art deli. It's a work of art.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's right there on Ventura Boulevard, close between Laurel Canyon and Whitsett. For all you Los Angelinos, tell us someone that came into your deli, Harold. Tell us a celebrity that came into your deli that was just absolutely fabulous to you and your staff, as far as tips wise.
My God, the real amazing ones. That's hush hush. That's personal. That's really quiet because they're the ones that don't want the publicity. But I will tell you that we had somebody who was a very big tipper, and everybody said he was not such a nice person. But when he lived at at Coldwater and Mulholland, it was Marlon Brando. Absolute sweetheart of a man when he would come in. So I couldn't say enough about him. And the day that I met him, somebody said that's Marlon Brando sitting there. No, that's not Marlon Brando sitting there. And sure enough, it was. So all of our regular Hollywood clientele come here because we don't make a big fuss over them. And I'll only tell you the stories that are out in the public and the press. But for the rest of we've got some very, very famous, well-known actors, actresses, and producers, directors, studio heads who are all customers here. And we respect their privacy, and we know they're coming here to eat. And my dad's philosophy was that since this is Studio City, and Republic Studios, where they did the Keystone Cops, which is now CBS Studios, is right down the street. My dad taught me that the philosophy is that once they walk through the door, it could be a studio head like Lou Wasserman, or it could be the guy that's the carpenter on the set. They're all the same. They're all great. They all work in the studio business, and they're all supporting us. So it really didn't matter. They were all celebrities to us when they walked in the door. So that's kind of the way I was raised and how I run the business at this point. Everybody that walks in the door is part of our family. And now that the studio business is coming back, we're starting to see a lot more of that now.
That is great to hear. Harold, thank you so much for being on Heidi's Hollywood and also Daily Fish. We certainly enjoy it. We're glad that you guys are back working strong. And Heidi, thanks, because we're going to have more with you, that's for sure. So,
absolutely. Oh, and by the way, I don't know if this came up earlier, but when Dan Frischman and Christine Hodge got here, they ran into their producers of Head of the Class. So now they're talking about maybe doing something else together. So, that's just the way it works. You never know.
Another conversation to kick off a new show. All right.
Yeah.
All right, Heidi, thank you. And that is Heidi's Hollywood. She's with us.
Yeah, thank you guys.
She's going to be very busy over the next few weeks as we ramp up towards the Oscars as well. So make sure to check out Heidi on Facebook and Instagram. Heidi, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, and Daily Fish Drink of the Week is sponsored by Shucks Tavern in Vegas. If you want great seafood and drinks in 2 locations, where do you go, Fish? You go to Shucks on North Durango on the northern side of town.
Icon here, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah. There it is. There it is. All you got to do is when you go there, say Daily Fish Podcast. You get a free drink. Do it the next day, a free appetizer. That's Shucks Tavern. Check out Shucks Tavern on Facebook and see Fish there overnight. And we have our drink of the week sponsored by Shucks. What are we toasting, and what are we toasting with this week, Fish?
Okay, this is called a creamsicle, and I figured every good deli has a great cream soda. Well, let's do it. Let's do an alcohol version of it. And at Shucks, we have it's called the creamsicle. So you put vodka, vanilla vodka, okay, ginger ale, a little orange liqueur, which could be Grand Marnier or an orange liqueur, and that's a creamsicle. I mean, it tastes almost like a cream soda. So, hey,
really does.
To all the great delis and restaurants in the world, to Harold for surviving all the crap that went on. And hey, l'chaim.
Absolutely. And that is the Daily Fish Drink of the Week. Time now for the Daily Grind. All right, Fish, first, baseball is draining us. Owners and players are meeting as we speak on Tuesday. If no deal is met today, then more games will be canceled than the regular season. There is some movement, but it really doesn't look that good right now. Frankly, Fish, the season to me still seems in jeopardy of being lost, or at the same time, too, spring training could open by Friday. Pontificate on that a little for me, Fish.
I'm lithium drip. Just basically, I need 17 drinks, 17 pastrami sandwiches at our study to figure this out, because I never thought it would come down to this. But there is progress, and the one progress I like, and we could ask Hardison about this sometime, they have approved the pitch clock. My biggest problem was the length of the games being 3 hours and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Now, the pitch clock is between 14 and 19 seconds. My sex life is a pitch clock, okay? So bottom line is, let's get back to baseball. Yeah, guys like Camley Jansen that take 48 seconds, you're going to have to figure it out, because I think if that moves the game at a faster pace, and I want your opinion on this, John, that helps get more bodies in the seats, or that bodies in the seats, but it gets more viewership. What do you think?
No, I agree. I think you're going to move games faster. Life is fast paced now. Baseball's way too slow. Pitchers will figure it out. I mean, it'll take a while for some of them, or they're going to be throwing more balls, because if you don't get the pitch done in time, it's a ball. So I think they'll eventually get it. I also hope the hitters get it too. Is that when they put the shift, when they put everybody on one side of the infield, drop a bunt on the other side of the infield. Baseball is so dumb. You just, I'll hit into the shift, or I'll hit a home run. No, you're going to strike out most of the time. So that's what I think eventually they'll figure it out. But I do enjoy it.
Let me ask your opinion on this, because like I said, on Daily Fish, you are the baseball aficionado. You know the history of the game and everything about baseball. What concerns me is not only do you have the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs taking us to June, but look at this. This is your backyard. The Charlotte Major League Soccer team had their opening game. Look at that. Sold out. Bank of America Stadium, where the Carolina Panthers played, and they're guaranteed 6 sellouts. The MLS is 25 of their teams sell out. Yeah, that is a con. The USFL starts April 16th, and 40 of their 46 games are on regular TV, and they're guaranteed sold out in Birmingham. Baseball is very careful of just falling through the cracks. Don't you agree?
I agree 100%. And then on the flip side, this just came out just a little bit a few minutes ago. If there is a season, Apple TV will carry 2 Major League Baseball games on Friday nights. It'll be like a doubleheader, and you don't have to have a subscription to Apple TV to watch it. So, I don't know what Apple TV is betting on here, but at the same time too, I'm still concerned about baseball. We've talked about this the last few weeks, so I'm very concerned. And you just gave a lot of the economic indicators that tell me why I should be worried about it, and fans should be worried about it. So anyway, we'll see. We will be watching this, needless to say, and by next week we'll probably have a better idea. Next, NFL announcers and analysts are dropping Fish. Amazon picked up the 2022 NFL Thursday night package with a stunner. Fish, let's go through the hot stove and the landing spots for some of these announcers and analysts.
Okay, let's go. We have time, because we have this wonderful time where you and I and we can hard on and can pontificate about these certain things. We just talked about, and we'll talk about it later, how the hot stove really picked up in the NFL. How about these landing spots? Troy Aikman goes from Fox to ESPN, which knocks Brian Greasy and Louis Riddick out of that box, and we still don't know who the play-by-play guy is going to be, John. But we do know this, okay? Amazon offered Sean McVay, the coach of the Rams, 4 years at $20 million a year. So that's, and I'm sorry, 4 years at $100 million, $25 million. He makes $9.6 million as a coach. So that's roughly $15 million or whatever. I'm not really good at math. $15.4 million. He is on the table to go back to coaching. Stunner. Okay. Amazon then goes after Drew Brees. Can't sign him. They go after Peyton Manning. They go after Tom Brady. They settle on, and I like this guy, but they settled on Kirk Herbstreit, which I thought was a real stunner because he's known for college football. And you're going to have your take on that in a second. It's like sort of like when you're casting a film and you want to go for Brad Pitt. Okay, we can't get him. Let's get Ryan Gosling. Can't get him. Let's get George Clooney. Can't get him. All right, we'll stick with Fish. So it's just, and then you're seeing the other dominoes start to fall. Okay, now Joe Buck wants to leave Fox. Does he go to ESPN? Al Michaels is going to leave NBC. Does he go to Amazon? I mean, this is all going to come to fruition soon. But the Herbstreit thing was a real stunner. What do you think?
I agree. And I'm a big fan of Kirk Herbstreit. I love him, but I love him as a college announcer. I did see him do one NFL game not long after he did a college game, and this was in the past season. I can't remember what the scheduling was, and it wasn't good. And it's not that he's bad, it's just that he doesn't know the NFL. He knows college really well. He had a day or two time in between. It was not good. At the same time, too, he could be doing both if they keep the same contract. So he may be doing college and pro like Thursday and then Saturday. So one, he's going to be a busy guy. Is that good enough for all of us? I don't know. And again, I don't want to knock Kirk Herbstreit. I like Kirk Herbstreit. I think he's a good guy. But I don't know. It's fascinating because I would say 2 or 3 weeks ago when we were talking about this, I think we kind of had it figured out, and we don't.
Tom Brady is the final piece of this puzzle, and Amazon's prepared to give him $30 million a year to sit in that chair for 17 weeks, and I guarantee he turns it down.
Think so?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's coming back, but that's for another show. So
okay, all right, cool. The Apple TV thing, we're going to talk to Hardline about that too, just a little bit. I think he's got some thoughts on that. All right, and finally on the grind, talk about downers. WNBA star Brittany Griner remains detained in Russia. They just released a photo of her today. They don't know exactly where she is. She seems to be okay. She allegedly had hash oil in her belongings at the airport in Moscow. Now, this could be a 10-year sentence in Russia. And she could also be used as a pawn in the Russian-Ukraine war negotiations with the U.S. Fish, let me give you my take really quickly on this. This is not good. You almost have to think that the Russians had planned this since it happened weeks before the war actually started. Not only that, Russia does not look favorably on people who are LGBTQ. I think, and this is strictly my opinion based on the news that I'm watching and the things that I'm reading, I think Putin's over the edge, and there's no looking back as far as he's concerned. So I am very worried for Brittany, and for that matter, for all of us. Go for it. Give me your take.
We're in the entertainment business, and a fantastic film came out in 1978, won the Academy Award for Best Screenplay from Oliver Stone, Midnight Express, about a guy named Billy Hayes that got caught with ounces of hash in Turkey and got a 53-year sentence because of politics at the time between the United States and Turkey. I hope Brittany Griner's not part of this. My concern is she was told to get the hell out of Russia, and she stayed. Okay, and that's concerning. Do I think because 1978 didn't have social media, do I think she'll get out? Yeah, but I agree with you. I think Putin's going to use this as a pawn or a negotiating tactic. I remember a few years ago, one of the ball kids got caught in China stealing shoes or candy, and they want to give him a 10-year sentence. And Trump came out the hero because he got him off. Yeah. But it was touch and go there for a second. This is more serious. And I don't know if it's the LGBTQ thing that Putin's thing. I just know that he knows that this is a pretty famous American that got caught doing something. 10 years for having hash oil on him? My God. So how this plays out, I don't know. But again, the media, here's the thing. You're right. Putin doesn't give a shit about the media. He doesn't give a shit about anything right now. He's as Stalin as you could be as far as old school, going back to the 20th century and imperialism. So I pray for Brittany Griner. I hope she gets out.
Yep, I agree with you. And then that is the Daily Grind. Still ahead, our Schmuck of the Week, along with Who's Got the Swag. And right now, it is time for the Daily Fish Hardlines. John Hardison has the podcast, The Cost of Winning, focusing on fantasy sports and sports betting. Hardline, welcome. Talk about, since we know you've kind of got an idea, talk about the Apple TV thing with Major League Baseball. What do you think's going on there?
It's a necessity, right? Like, this is the biggest thing, the difference between when we talk about the NFL and we talk about baseball. Baseball is trying to sell the game of baseball. The NFL is selling the game of entertainment, right? If you look at the trajectory of Major League Baseball, anytime that there's been any new technology, and John, you can comment on this, from the 1920s, they didn't want it on radio. Then you go into the 60s, they didn't want it on TV because they thought people wouldn't want to come to the stands. And now we're at the point where if you look at the numbers over the last 10, 15 years, the amount of people cutting their cords has been drastic. That takes a hit for those TV revenues that's going to happen for, baseball, NBA, football. this is a necessity that needs to happen to keep this game alive. And I think having Apple TV, something that's already over the top, something that people don't have to buy an additional box for, is going to make this game expand even further. And then depending on how you do the contracts, you might even get more overseas games as well to fill in for that time of year when you're not playing baseball. So I just think that it's a necessity depending on how the MLB comes to the agreement with the Apple TV. And kudos to Apple for having the forward thinking to get ahead of this instead of Amazon trying to dominate them.
I agree with you. And I think, Apple's deep pocketed as well as Amazon. So I'm hoping that it's going to be helping baseball more than anything else. But you're absolutely right as far as the technology, because people are cutting the cords and everyone's streaming now. They're watching games on this. So, I mean, that's very true. All right, good take. All right, listen, lots breaking on. First, let's go to the NFL and everything that's happening. Russell Wilson is now a Bronco in a blockbuster deal involving 5 draft picks, quarterback Drew Lock, tight end Noah Fant, and D lineman Shelby Harris to the Seahawks. That's a lot. What is this saying, Hardline?
What it's saying is the Broncos are all in, and I know this is there's a lot of questions that are circulating around with this. Who are they going to be able to pair Russell Wilson with? What does this mean for the long-term effects? I know the Broncos are up for sale as well. Did this have something to do with the ownership? Maybe it's somebody that Russell Wilson agrees with. But in terms of the Broncos, this pushes them quite a bit up. Earlier today they started at plus 600 to win their division. Now they're at plus 230. That's a huge jump for just one guy, anywhere between 200 plus 230, 250. That's a huge jump for one guy just coming to a team. And Fish and I have had this conversation. It's about drafting, but also it's about who's there in your team that attracts free agents. And, we're talking about Russell Wilson, a perennial Hall of Famer coming to this team. They did it about 10 years ago when they went out and they got Peyton Manning, and we saw everyone that decided to come to the Broncos to play at that time. My question is, keep your eye open for a lot of these guys that are free agency between this year and next year coming. But right now, I told you last year, I thought the NFC West was the best division in football. I think it's flipping now to the AFC West being the best division in football, especially when you consider these are the 4 quarterbacks in this division. We're not saying in the AFC, Pat Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, Justin Herbert. And they're going to play each other twice a year.
Right. And to the Raiders, Derek Carr had the most chatter and had the most offers of 2 number 1s and number 2. Pittsburgh, 3 number 1s to get this guy, and Wilson goes to Denver. You live in Las Vegas. You hear all the same crap I do. Do you think the Raiders jump at that with the Steelers and take 3 number 1s, sign Mariota, and just say, you know what, let's try and do a little bit of a rebuild? Because obviously, you're looking at that division, and you got 2 Hall of Famers there with Mahomes and Wilson, and Herbert's a young stud. Can Carr compete with them? Yes. But look at it this way, too. The Broncos have a new regime with Nathaniel Hackett. The Raiders have one with Josh McDaniels. What do you think is going to happen with the Raiders, and what would you do moving forward with Derek Carr?
If I'm the GM, I'm listening to offers. I mean, at this point, you have to really consider there are glaring holes on that team. There are glaring holes at cornerback. There are glaring holes at wide receiver. There are glaring holes in terms of who's on your offensive line. They just got rid of Rodney Hudson. They shipped him to the Arizona Cardinals last season, and that's an all-pro center. At this point, I think you listen to the offers. Maybe you sacrifice a year and you look to see what you can get out of those 2 number 1 picks, and you trade Carr. I don't think that Derek Carr, as much as I love him, is your long-term solution at this position with Josh McDaniels, with Ziegler. I think that you have to address those issues, and if you can get 2 first-round picks and put them to good use, very good use, because we saw that happen when we talk about Khalil Mack. We saw that when it happened with Amari Cooper. It didn't necessarily get you put to the use that we thought. If you put those to good use, I think that you have to consider trading Derek Carr.
Okay, wait. I'll tell you one thing. The Raiders are watching this right now. I'm not kissing Derek Carr's ass or the Raiders. But when it tells me, hang on, when Mike Tomlin wants to put his coaching legacy or the rest of his career on the line, and Ron Rivera, Washington, wants to give up a king's ransom for Derek Carr, it tells you that the kid is worth something. So Josh McDaniels took the job. I don't think Derek Carr is going anywhere, and I think the Raiders will be you and I talked about this earlier on the phone today, Hardline. I think the Raiders in Las Vegas will be a great destination. He'll attract people because the way he handled last season. Russell Wilson is not the guy you think in the locker room that he is. I have some insights. Great guy, but a little aloof, a little bit into the Sierras and this and that. I'm not so sure that him going to Denver is going to be a marriage made in heaven, but we'll see.
We'll see. I mean, like I said, the face of your franchise is what makes the most things attractive. And if you've got a guy that's either a team guy in a locker room, or you got a guy that can bring in people just based off of his relationships, I think that's the guy that, attracts the most free agents.
All right. Between both of you, can we put the Davante Adams coming to the Raiders thing to rest?
I never say never. Look, to me, the biggest thing is this. It doesn't make sense for him to buy a house out here if either A, that doesn't mean something that he's had conversations, or B, he's seriously considering it. I know we got the franchise tag and everything, but this might be a long-term investment. It's not, you're forward thinking. He's still a pretty young guy. He's got some good years ahead of him.
Tom Brady and many NBA stars have homes in Las Vegas. Many of them. Do they live here? No. So they it sounded good and it looked, but I think let me ask you this, Hardline. Let's go back and forth. I want to get to golf. I'm so excited about the Players Championship. Davante Adams, can you win a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers? And sorry, Raiders, or can you win it with Derek Carr with that competition, that division? Aaron Rodgers, name one quarterback in the NFC that's even close to him in stature. 0. AFC is loaded right now, bringing Wilson in. He's got Goff, he's got Kirk Cousins and Justin Fields in his division. They're winning that division right now on paper. Okay, Adams comes here, so he plays with his best friend in life, Derek Carr. Still wants that Super Bowl. He's got a better chance with Rodgers. No way he comes to Las Vegas.
I would say this. It depends on how long Aaron Rodgers realistically is going to stay in Green Bay. That makes the difference. If he's going to play that 4-year, $200 million contract out, sure. Do I think that that's going to happen? No. Do I believe that Aaron Rodgers had something else on the table and the Packers stepped up on the 11th hour and decided to deliver? Absolutely. I think that there is something else going on behind closed doors that Aaron Rodgers seriously considered going to Denver, and maybe Russell was the backup thing and they were working on both ends. I never say never in the NFL. Never, no matter what. Because LeBron got on a plane to go to LA and he never left.
All right.
We knew LeBron was staying in LA. Yeah. Go ahead.
We're going to talk about this, I know, in weeks to come. That's for sure. Hardline, let's shift the golf a little bit here. Fish just mentioned the Players Championship this week. Do you have a team that you might pick if you had to put 4 or 5 players together, or what are you looking at if you had to put some money down on the Players Championship?
I'm looking at who's possibly going to win it overall. The biggest thing is, for some reason, he keeps going under the radar, and I really like Colin Morikawa. I really like him. He's a solid play. He came in second at the Genesis right there. And his odds to win are pretty good this year. I mean, on this situation, I'm a big fan of him. I think that's somebody to look out for. He's plus 1,200. And the other guy that I'm really excited for, honestly, is a 1256 tee off at number 1, which is Colin, Rory McIlroy, and Justin Thomas. That to me is a very good tee. Keep your eye out for those guys. I think that might be the tee to watch.
Interesting. I picked Morikawa and Patrick Cantlay to be up there. So yeah, so good pick. Fish, go ahead.
My Longhorn, Scotty Scheffler. Okay. What do you have him at?
Scheffler, he's got pretty good odds going in. Scheffler was, let me make sure because I got it right here. Scheffler was, I believe, plus 2,000 going into it. So he's got a good shot. I mean, he's got a good shot of getting out there. It's a dog-eat-dog fight in this tournament. And it could be anyone's game, but he's up there. For him to finish in the top 5, I think is where you want to shoot for him. That I believe he was like plus 500 to finish in the top 5 finish. So I definitely would go towards him. Yep.
Very good. All right, let's go to March Madness for the ladies. Is UConn finally returning after being wiped out earlier?
UConn's getting there. I still think the best 2 teams to me right now in this women's tournament is South Carolina and North Carolina State. I love what Daly has done down there. If you look at who she's been able to produce just in the last couple of years, especially with our own Asia Wilson here in Las Vegas, I think they're the best one. And Aaliyah Boston, give credit where credit's due. She's averaging 17 and 12 right now. I mean, she is dominating on those boards, especially in a very difficult conference.
Right. Did you guys see Chattanooga last night, that 3-point play to win their conference championship, John? Did you watch that?
I didn't get a chance to see it yet. No.
Oh,
heard about it.
Well, are there any good bets in the men's conference championships? Because we have a game tomorrow morning at 7:30 our time. Boise State plays. So this is unbelievable. You're a college basketball. I'm becoming a junkie for college basketball because baseball is draining me. So give us any good bets you see in the men's conference championships, Heartline.
So you know what? I actually like Memphis at plus 350. I'm a big Memphis guy. They went down real early. A lot of freshmen, a lot of injuries. Don't ask Penny Hardaway about how he feels about that. But I mean, he was right. Look, he was coaching his butt off. He's doing really good. I think they're better than Houston. That would be my team to pick in that conference. In the Big East, John, I got to go with you. I actually really like Providence. I like Providence to win the Big East. They're gritty. They're tough. They grind it out. They play good D. I know Villanova's right there, but something's telling me Providence has this edge in this conference right now. And in terms of the Big Ten, which is close to my heart, as much as I'm a Michigan State guy, I really like Purdue. Purdue and Wisconsin are the two teams that scare me the most in the Big Ten. I just think that they have length, they have size. They're willing to take charges. They're willing to go down to the wire. Those are two teams that I would definitely take a look at in the Big Ten. Purdue is plus 200. Wisconsin's plus 800 to win the Big Ten Conference in the tournament.
Let me ask this real quick about, and this might be more of a fan's perspective. Like, I want my Friars to win the Big East, but I'm more concerned. I want them to go to the Final Four this year because this is a team, and I've gone back through their Final Four teams when Pitino was there in '85. I was actually there. Ernie D in '72. I actually think this team is a better team all around. They don't have the superstars, but they're a better team. But there's a part of me that says, I don't know if I want them to go all the way in the Big East because I want them to go all the way in the national championship. Is there a chance that a team that wins a conference championship sometimes is wiped out by the time they get to the tournament?
Yeah, I mean there's teams that happen that way. You go so hard, you put so much energy in and so much effort that sometimes it's better to be second right now, and then make your way up in the tournament than it is to win it overall. I mean, you struggle sometimes. You never know. We've seen this with number one seeds that get knocked out real early. I'll give you the example. What it was about 4 years ago, Michigan State was a top 3 seed and got knocked out by Middle Tennessee. Yeah. And it happens. It's a long season. It's a grinded out season. And sometimes you just lose gas in the first round with a team that's just playing off of just pure luck and pure chance. It just happens sometimes. And so I would say this in terms of Providence, winning the Big East is the first step, especially with everything going on. I do think they have a good shot at running the table in the tournament. But the biggest thing, and I'll use the example of Butler when Brad Stevens was there. It helps so much in recruiting in the long term of getting those guys to come, just winning your conference and then just making small runs in the NCAA tournament to show, hey, we have a good program. We have something that we built. It's definitely worth it. Because if you told me going on about 10 years ago that Butler would be in 2 national championship games, I would have told you were crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. I need you to play psychotherapist here. I need you to give your words of wisdom because you're so well read and learned to Russell Westbrook, who's pissed off at LA fans for calling him Russell Westbrook. Shut the hell up. You're making $30 million a year. I need Hardline to tell him how to get through this crisis in his life. Go Hardline, because this is something fishy almost. I'm turning red.
The easiest answer is play better. I mean, you're used as an adjective. You wanted to come back home. This is about your 4th or 5th team that you've played for. At some point, it's not the organizations. It's got to be you. And sometimes you have to change the way that you approach the game in order to fit around what you had. Like, you knew when you were coming what the team and the dynamics and the roster looked like. The pressure was on you. You're an LA guy. You went to UCLA. You wanted to play for the home team. This is what comes with having all that pressure built on you. So you know what? Take it easy. Hopefully you're back with the Lakers next year. From a lot of reports, it doesn't sound like it's going to happen. So enjoy your time that you have here right now. Maybe tap in with Magic Johnson and see if he can, lean into the bus's ear. And if I was Russell Westbrook right now, the first person I would probably, in all seriousness, be reaching out to would be Phil Jackson, because I know Phil Jackson and Jeannie Buss still communicate. He still has her ear. If you really want to be in LA, if you want the chip in your town, you're going to have to smooth some of those guys at the top and convince them why you need to be here, why they need you versus, why you want to be there.
Okay.
All right. And that is the Daily Fish Hardline with John Hardison. What did you want to say? Sorry, I thought it was right. I thought we were right.
All the people that follow Fox TV, John Hardison is now taking over the role of Dr. Oz. Therapy to the morons that watch TV about that was a brilliant take you just had. Maybe we can get you a job with the Lakers as one of their counselors.
There we go. And that is the Daily Fish Hardline with John Hardison and the Cost of Winning podcast. Also, mental health advice, too. You can find him here with us each week, also on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Hardline, thanks, buddy. Get some rest. Next week's going to be a big one. You got to be busy with March Madness here, so get some rest.
The tourney, the best part of the year.
Madness, baby. Got to love it. All right. Thanks, Hardline. And hey, folks, thanks for tuning in. Daily Fish is live on Facebook at daily.fish.5 on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Watch us on Facebook at Myrtle Beach Golf Channel and Myrtle Beach Grand Strand Life. Check us out on Daily Fish on YouTube as well. Plus, DBNA Television has us on Roku and Amazon Fire. We are also on Spotify soon. We're going to be on Wingding TV. Check out that app as well. So we got that. So we do have something fishy, though, don't we? Here, yeah. What do you have that's fishy tonight here, or did you already do that?
I did. I have something fishy. We're going to do. I thought maybe the Westbrook thing was something fishy, but I would like to have some elocution on something that's very interesting to me, because sometimes I can be learned, and I want to know what's in a name. Right now, we're in a culture, counterculture, cancel culture. And I might piss some people up on this, but I hear PETA is looking at having the Orioles, the Blue Jays, the Eagles, the Falcons removed as team names. It's whatever is demeaning towards words. Seriously, I'm serious. We saw what happened with the Redskins, who are now the Commanders. The Indians are now the Guardians, all right? And they're going after the Kansas City Chiefs, and they're going after the Atlanta Braves. And some I get, some I don't. If these names bother you, and it affects, and it's racial anyway, got to get rid of them. But let me tell you something from some of my inside sources that I know. I don't think the people that in Cleveland or Washington did their research in devising the names of the Guardians and the Commanders, okay? I know from highly, highly, highly reliable sources that there is a dominatrix club called the Guardian Room in many cities throughout the United States, where you see this. Okay? Now, do you want your baseball team associated with that? How about this? You want to see what I do in my time off? Listen, hang on, John. And when you go to a dominatrix, an S&M club, the women call you Commander. Okay? So if that's me, this girl's calling me Commander, and that could be me. Who knows? Wow. I need McDonald's in the worst way. Look how skinny I am. I'm just saying. So I can't look at the Washington Commanders without thinking about an S&M joint and dominatrix. I think for the Washington football team, the Commanders, I think they need to do. I think underneath their uniforms, they need to wear leather straps and leather ball plugs in their mouth, and that would be a great, great, great advertisement for all dominatrixes out there. What do you think?
I think it'd be perfect too, and plus it would help them lose a little weight and get slimmer looking. So yeah, right. I would definitely go for that. All right, and that is something fishy. Hey, folks, you need a great golf getaway. The Myrtle Beach Golf Trail has dozens of courses along the Carolina coast. Set up an entire trip for yourself, your family, your friends. Get a bunch of friends together. The site is myrtlebeachgolftrail.com. You can play there year-round. It is high season now. Get out here soon. Go get some courses and get some tee times, and do it soon. Do it as fast as you can. All right, now it's time for our Schmuck of the Week. Who's been schmucky this week, Fish?
I didn't think this is a big deal. We talked about this during the week, and you said to me, Fish, I think this guy's done this all year. But this was something that really pissed off a lot of people. This is Evan McPherson, Money McPherson, probably the most clutch kicker in the playoffs in NFL history leading up to the Super Bowl. And he went from watching Snoop Dogg to going straight into the doghouse because one of his Bengals coaches said he's still sour, very sour. The star kicker stayed on the field at the Super Bowl to watch the halftime show. Nearly a month after McPherson was spotted on the sidelines, grooving to Eminem, Dr. Dre, Snoop, Mary J. Blige, and others, instead of hearing locker room speeches, Cincinnati special teams coordinator Darren Simmons said he's still not happy about it, John. Quote, "That's a sore subject," Simmons told The Athletic this week. Quote, "That's a real sore subject." I didn't think it was a big deal, but shouldn't you be in the locker room to see if there's any kind of adjustments at halftime?
I got to tell you, when I saw video of him sitting out there, and then I heard somebody say, "Oh, he does that all the time. He doesn't go in," and I was like, "Well, okay, I guess it's part of his deal." But yeah, for me, I still think if you're the place kicker, you've got to know if you're going to do a fake field goal, so you got to be in there. But
I'll give you a quick example. 2009. 2009, do you remember when the New Orleans Saints came out at halftime and tried an onside kick against the Colts and it was successful? Well, if McPherson's on that team, he doesn't know that until the last second. So I could see, and then of course Rich Eyes and others picked up on this, and they're still pissed off at the guy because he hasn't owned up to it. He's doubling down like, well, I'm allowed to do what I want to. No, you're part of a team. Get your ass in the locker room. You're a great kicker. They'll get over it, but again, it's a month later, and he's still got some apologizing to do.
Yeah. All right. And that is our schmuck of the week. Let's see who's got swag this week. Who are we toasting, Fish?
Well, yeah, we could toast this. This is such a great story. And I say this all the time about our swag, but sometimes you got to look at someone like this guy. All right. 4 months after 97-year-old amateur Leonid Stanislavski's dreams come true, when he played with 21 times Grand Slam champion Rafa Nadal, John, this Ukrainian is enduring the worst nightmare in Kharkiv as Russian forces bomb his city. Stanislavski holds a Guinness World Record as the world's oldest tennis player, also had dreams of playing Swiss great Roger Federer, but now has only one simple wish, survivor. And he said, John, I'm not leaving. I will stay in my country, and Roger Federer will come to me. What a great story. And that guy's going to have swag. You know what? Lift your glass up to this guy.
Absolutely.
Let's hope that happens.
Right. Yep. To the yellow and blue of Ukraine. Absolutely. Great.
Leonid Stanislavski. That's my hero. That's a hero of mine. 97 years old. And he's still playing golf. I mean, golf. He's still playing tennis. Sets of tennis. Love it.
Gotta love it. All right. And that is Who's Got the Swag. Coming up, folks, Fish and I are going to wrap things up, give you a sneak peek of next week. But first, we want you to check out Hope for the Warriors. They have a big celebrity golf event coming up August 27th, 29th. It will be in Wallace, North Carolina, near Wilmington. Hope for the Warriors works with our military warriors who were wounded to restore their sense of self, family, and hope. They get them healthy and well so they are part of their families and their community. It's a great charity, a great event. And you're going to see us there. Daily Fish will be at that event in August. So that is hopeforthewarriors.org. Please check them out. And remember, folks, Daily Fish is live from Vegas and Myrtle Beach. Catch us on Facebook at daily.fish.5. You can also catch us on Facebook on Myrtle Beach Golf Channel and Myrtle Beach Grand Strand Life. We're also on DB&A Television on Roku TV and Amazon Fire. We can be seen on the DB&A Television website at dbandatelevision.com. And we're also on YouTube soon. We're going to be on Wingding TV. Make sure to check out their app, Wingding TV. And make sure to write us at dailyfish1@gmail.com. All right. Hey, Fish, just a couple of things. I know we only got about 5 minutes left here. Just heard some good news. Dick Vitale says his medical tests came back, show that he's cancer-free. You and I were pulling for Dickie V. I've had breakfast with him a number of times, hoping he's going to be back in the booth by next year. He's going to be watching the March Madness from his home, but I wish he will get picked up maybe by CBS maybe next year, and he'll be able to do it. What do you think?
Maybe, you know what? If I was Amazon, I'd give him $30 million to do football. They're doing Kirk Herbstreit. No, why not? I love Dickie, the energy we talk. Dickie, the energy he brings, and everyone. My wife said, talked to him at the Tampa airport when she's visiting her father. The most just a, the most loquacious, nicest person, and humble. And he is who he is. He's on camera. You know the guy. So but he brings an energy and he brings such a vivaciousness to his broadcast. It helps promote college basketball.
I agree. Then also, the Hardline was talking about my Friars, my Friar coach, Ed Cooley. He was just named the Sporting News Men's Coach of the Year. Now, again, the Friars play Thursday. That's Thursday at noon Eastern time in the Big East tournament. They're going to play the winner of the Butler-Xavier game, which is Wednesday night. So take a look at that. We'll be looking at that as well. Also, Fish, hey, next week, Hall of Fame hockey goalie Grant Fuhr will be joining us. We're looking forward to that as well.
Absolutely. And just to addendum what you said, you're the best host you could work with. But we just found out today that if you're watching us on Roku TV or Amazon.net, you can stream us into Facebook and also YouTube. So for those viewers, there's another way to catch Daily Fish live.
Yeah, you can definitely watch us and look for us on Spotify too. So we're on Spotify. You're going to get a lot of play that way. So you don't have to watch us necessarily live, but you can watch us like during the week. Could listen to us if you want to too. Next week is going to be a big week for us. We're going to be going over March Madness. We're going to go over all the matchups. Of course, they'll be coming out Sunday. Hardline is going to be very, very busy next week with us.
Yeah, he's the best. I mean, this guy, there's 68% during the NFL season. He's got great prop bets for you on golf. We're gonna go heavy into golf. I cannot wait. The Masters this is great. It's a great time of the year. He's right. You got the tournament, you got the playoffs coming up in the NBA and National Hockey League. You got the Masters coming up. You know me with the USFL. I'll be watching. And the bottom line, John, we got about 4 minutes to go. Did you watch any of the combine?
I did watch some of the combine, and it was fascinating. It was fascinating because there weren't a lot of the quarterbacks here like we've had in so many years. I was so impressed with some of the defensive linemen and the linebackers. I mean, these guys were doing numbers, were doing 40s, like the running backs used to do 10 years ago. So there are some great athletes out there. I think we're going to see a little bit of a change towards defense, especially when the draft happens.
Bringing Hardline in for this question. John, Hardline.
Wake up, Hardline.
John, I know you're asleep.
I'm always on the phone like Adam Schefter.
Okay, Ian Rappaport. There's a guy on Twitter, the Black Adam Schefter. That's you. Never shows his face. Let me ask you something. There was a guy that was 341 pounds that ran a 4.640. Was that you? Like, did you know when you go to the dog races and they put a little rabbit and you see the dogs run faster? Did they put a fried fish basket from Chuck's in front of you and you run that? This guy was such a great – talk about a guy that went from a fifth-round draft. I can't think of his name. You'll get it for me. But it was the most amazing thing. Rich Eisen was in shock that a guy that big can run that fast. So there's hope.
You know what? It was something that you rarely see. It was so good, so amazing to watch. Like I said, normally it's super rare to see linemen even get anywhere close to that. And I think we talked about a couple years ago, like hybrid linemen, like people playing like that 3-4, or people being able to. Yeah. And I don't know if maybe he, down in, what was he, from Georgia, or was it from Alabama? I can't remember off the top of my head. But either way, I don't know if this is what the SEC is now, the new model for the SEC, the new player prototype, but God bless them.
Right. Hey, Hardline, next week we have Hall of Fame goalie Grant Fuhr on. 5 Stanley Cups, or 4 with the Edmonton Oilers, and he played in the golden era, and he's probably the first African American hockey player of any stature, and he was fantastic. So, I'm sure you have some great questions for him, because I mean, this guy's an avid golfer, and he took a lot of epithets, and he probably handled it better than Russell Westbrook. So looking forward to that next week, buddy.
Absolutely. Super, super important guy, not only to the NHL, but into African-American culture, especially when you talk about the effects African-Americans have had on the sport of hockey and just everything he does. And he was the first African-American, or not African-American, but the first Black person inducted into the NHL Hall of Fame. So
absolutely. All right, Daly.
If you get a chance, there's a great documentary called Making Coco that's about him.
Yes.
And it's really worth seeing. And so before we get him on next week, if you get a chance and you want to do a little prep work yourself while you're watching Daily Fish, go ahead and take a look at that. That's for sure.
Jordan
folks,
Davis.
What's that?
Jordan Davis, Fish. That's what it was.
Jordan Davis. That's right. That's
Jordan
what it was.
Davis.
Man. Yeah. All right, Daly, get us out of here in 10 seconds.
All right, guys. This is Daily Fish. Catch us on Facebook, also YouTube, and we're on at 6 o'clock Tuesdays, Eastern Time, 3 o'clock Pacific. Guys, thank you so much. Another great Daily Fish, number 46. Love you guys. Thanks.
Great show. Go run the 40, Harlan. I'm right behind you.